Hey, welcome to Monday Morning Marriage Minute. I don't know what the weather's like where you're at, but where it's at here is where it's at here. It's amazing. Sitting outside on my deck, want to take a few minutes and talk to you about something that I think everyone can relate to if you're married, and that is the idea of the pursuer and the fleer. Now, in every relationship, basically, almost always, the pursuer is the woman. Isn't it amazing how before you get married, the man's the pursuer, but once you get married, the woman becomes the pursuer and the man becomes the fleer. So how this works is the woman comes up to the husband and says, we need to talk, or this has to change, or she's right there, let's deal with this right now. Right away, that triggers in the man that need to want to flee. I don't want to deal with this right now. I don't want to talk about it right now. It's going to be uncomfortable. I'm always going to be to blame. It's always going to be my problem. And so what happens after a while is, ladies, without realizing it, you are training your men to flee. So there's a couple things. Number one, you need to understand that if you're going to always go to your man with that tone of voice and with that idea and that mindset of we need to talk, why not be smart about it? Why not 9 out of 10 times you say, hey, we need to talk, and when he rolls his eyes and sighs and like, now what? Why not 9 out of 10 times you make it positive? And you say, we need to talk. I just want to say, last night I loved how you reached over and grabbed my hand during the movie. It just made me feel special, like you still care. Or we need to talk. Hey, I know you hate your boss and your job is horrible, but I really respect the fact that you continue to put in the hard work and bring home a paycheck. Or, hey, we need to talk. Hey, I know that you're not as excited to listen about my problems with my mom as I am to talk about them, but I appreciate you listening about them. It means a lot to me. See, if 9 out of 10 times you come to your husband and you say, hey, we need to talk, and all you're doing is building him up, showing respect, loving on him, guess what? On the 10th time when you come to him and say, we need to talk, he's going to be all ears. He's going to be ready. But here's the thing. When you come to him and you say, hey, we need to talk, you need to make sure that you don't talk about the problem that he has to solve. Let's say your husband's always late. And you say, hey, we need to talk. He's like, oh, yeah, babe, what about? Because remember, 9 times now out of 10, you've brought up positive things. He says, hey, we need to work on our timing. When I say let's be ready at 5, I apologize, but what I really mean is 4:45. And when you say you'll be ready at 5, you know what? What you really mean is 5:30. So in order for us to make our marriage better, let's figure out how this works with us. See, now you're not saying he needs to change, you're saying you need to change. Because the truth is, in every situation, you both need to change. Let's say one spouse spends money, and the other spouse is always like, what? We don't have the money, or you didn't ask. Rather than come up to your husband, or maybe the wife, and say, hey, we need to talk, and you right away say how they have to change, remember, when you tell someone they have to change, it's really just a subtle form of rejection. And when they feel rejected, first thing is, they don't want to change. They don't want to listen. They don't want to deal with it. So what you do is you come up and say, hey, we need to talk. Sometimes we're talking about how money is tight and we don't have the finances we'd like to have. And we need to make this better in our marriage. So can we talk about the best way to spend money and how you would spend it versus how I would spend it, just so I better understand? Because I think we could make our marriage better at this. See, when you talk about how you both have to change and how you both can make your marriage better, guess what? Now you're both on the same side. What a genius idea. Rather than put somebody on the opposite or on the attack by saying, hey, we need to talk, you need to change, and listen up, buddy. What you do is say, hey, we need to talk. 9 out of 10 times, you compliment them, you respect them, you love them. On the 10th time, you say, hey, I think there's an area we can make our marriage better. Because who doesn't want to make their marriage better? Duh. Number 3, say, hey, here's what we need to work on. And you talk about your expectations versus their expectations, and then you talk it out. And guess what? Sometimes you won't always work out that problem. But what you do is you choose to work on it with love and respect. And if you don't work it out, you say, you know what? I still love you, even though we don't see eye to eye on this. And I still want to work on my friendship with you because you're my best friend. Because remember, you don't solve the majority of your problems. That's why you need to work on friendship. Because friends will always stick together. Marriages don't always. Because you think for a marriage to work, everything has to be figured out. Nah, that's not the case. To stay married for a long time, like me, with my wife, we've been together 34 years. Guess what? We work on friendship. We don't work that much on problems. But when we do, we practice the 9 out of 10 rule. And on the 10th time, we practice those things. That is, how can we make our marriage better This is what we need to work on, and let's figure this out. So, Monday Morning Marriage Minute, hope you enjoyed it. Keep your questions coming at oneminutemarriage@gmail.com. Getting a lot of emails, getting a lot of interesting emails. Some of the things that you guys bring up, I can't really talk about here on Monday Morning Marriage Minute, but I will email you back. I'll email everybody back. I guarantee it. Just doesn't always happen immediately. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel, Monday Morning Marriage Minute, and please share this video with all of your friends who are married, gonna get married, divorced, gonna get remarried, who haven't gotten married, who don't want to get married, who would never get married, and those who've been married forever. I think they'll get something out of it. So we'll talk to you soon.